Guys, I only have 2 more dates left of my roleplay tour. The 12th of July, I'm playing the Boiler Room in Strabane, and on the 13th, we're wrapping it all up in none other than the old church in Cushendun. It's been a fun experience. I've loved it, and now it's coming to an end. Thank you to anyone that's been. If you want to come to the last shows of the run, get your tickets via the link in the description of this podcast. The Sly Guy podcast is brought to you in association with Visual Antics Apparel. Visual Antics have helped us have the fantastic range of merch that we now have for this podcast. You can check out all the range of merch that they have for other podcasts too by using their website, visualanticsapparel.com, and check it out there. Ideally, if you're there, look for Sly Guy and buy our merch. But if you want to be lazy, just follow the link in the description of the podcast wherever you get it. And if you want to be cheeky 10% off Sly Guy merch, use the discount code SlyGuy10 at checkout. That's SlyGuy10 at checkout for 10% off your Sly Guy podcast merchandise. Modest Beer. What can I say about Modest Beer that I haven't said so far? They've been here since day one of the podcast, and they'll be here until they're not. But if you want to know more info about them, just check out their website, modestbeer.co.uk. Find out what beers they have, what merch they've got, and if you want to be 15% off at checkout, use the discount code SLYPA15. That's SLYPA15 at checkout to get 15% off your Modest merch now. The Sly Guy podcast has a Patreon. That's right. You can go to patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast for all the bonus content that we have over there. We've got the extra Sly Guy podcast. We've got Dog Walks with Davey. We've early access to this podcast. And we have the guest question and answer podcast that's only exclusively on Patreon. And if you want some vlogs and other stuff related to the podcast, just bounce on over there, patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast, or follow the link in the description wherever you get your pods.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Sly Guy podcast. I'm jucking and jiving because this week my guest on the podcast is none other than the 2-time main eventer of the Comedians Boxing, big massive Strabane's own Roland Boyle. Ro did a great job this year at the boxing. He trained hard. He put on a great performance against my mate and yours, Colin Geddes. It was a great spectacle. The whole event was amazing. We talk about it on the podcast. Talk about the difference between this year's boxing and last and what Ro has done through that. About comedy in general and just about life, wrestling, weirdly. We spend a lot of time talking about Andre the Giant, but you know what? It was a great time. So, guys, Ro's here. He's going to be in Strabane whenever I'm doing my tour show there on the 12th. So if you haven't got tickets yet, Strabane, come at us. Brother, as Hulk Hogan would say. But it was a cracking episode. It was a load of fun to have Ro down. And also a cameo from Eamon McElwee. Now, I need to prefix this by saying this is the first time I've come across a guy on edibles since I was on edibles. So it's a wee bit of PTSD coming out my way. But Eamon McElwee was sitting off camera just on edibles, and it was an experience. So guys, what a podcast. Enjoy it this week. And whatever you're doing, look after yourselves. YOLO. Why did I say that? Ro, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man.
Some drive, some pish. That was 25 minutes there.
That was a good pee, and you know what? And you're ready for it. And you know what? Because I'm going to do a gig after this.
Yeah.
Straight to do it. I might have to go in that toilet again. Just
to get it out of you.
The kids.
That's impressive. Because I appreciate you coming in. Because now, for you guys who don't know, because this is you probably watching and listening to this anywhere, it's 5:45.
Yeah.
Well, 5 to 6 now, and you're
doors at 7.
At 7. So we'll get this.
I think we're on at 8, so
there'll be time. Nice. You don't want to look at the set. You know, you want to be able to.
I want to even do the bullet points.
I have to say, my mum was very selfish and has got herself in hospital. I had to go and visit the woman. You know,
she's alright.
Well, you know, I think she is. You know, I think she is. Touch wood. Anyway, she's something up like her bloods aren't really right, so she's checking. She was like, I'm fine, I want to go home, bored here. And my dad was like, yeah, can't do a wash myself, don't know how a wash machine works. And you're like, well, figure it out.
My dad there, you know, he's on medication. My dad's usually very thin.
Yeah.
But all his sons and my ma are big. We get the big after my ma. She had to go to Turkey. She's that big. And now she's that size. She's that size, right? But my dad's on this medication steroid. He beat cancer a couple of years ago, but then he had a scare there and went down, cleared of cancer, but had to take a steroid. And you want to see the size of his face now.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
When he talks, it wobbles and all.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody in our family are just giving dogs abuse now. Call him Fat Boy, Rubberhead and all we're calling. All the names he gave me growing up.
See, my dad had the opposite of that because he lost weight, but he was always quite a big fella. So he got the droop. from losing it. So he's
The
like a melted candle, you know. But no, my dad actually got
Like the end of RoboCop and your man gets
yeah.
melted.
But God love him if he's listening. But but I remember he got Bell's palsy whenever we were on a plane. But I didn't know it was. But I thought he had a stroke, and like
The left hand side.
it was fully like gone. And I think I must have been about 20 at the time. And he was like, "Do I look all right?" And I was like, "No, you don't. Like you fucking
slapped you across the face.
I was like, "Fuck, you look terrible." And he goes, "Don't tell me that." And I goes, "I'm no fucking doctor. Like, what do you look like? You have a fucking."
When you're not an expert of
full
things,
stroke. Yeah, and
I
it's-
never Googled it. Left hand side went dead.
But then it was like, and he's like, "Oh, what do I do?" And I was like, "Well, make sure you have a will written. Fuck me, because that's terrible."
What's the story, Bell's palsy? It's like I know your big boy Thor got it. Remember the
Yeah.
strongest man in the world?
Yes, half Thor. He got the old. I suppose half a face Thor. He got that, and but then he sort of is almost better again.
I seen him getting interviewed by Shaw the last day, and it didn't
Yeah.
look like he
Like-
looked more straight.
I don't know. It's something to do with now. I always prefix it with I did single word science,
Right.
so I don't.
What'd you
really
get on
have-
it? See,
I got a C. A D.
Well,
Did
D.
a D.
I'm listening.
Yeah, C.
If you've got a D.
I got a D. I got a D. Yeah.
D's impressive in my world.
Yeah, I got a D. So it's all right. But I.
D for
I-
definitely know what you're talking about.
A D for Deutsch. But so I think what happens is like it affects the muscles, like a virus. It gets your muscles and just drops them. So I think you can cure it, and then you can
Fix it back up, but you don't
sort
know
of
how
goes back.
or when.
But
it's-
like I would look at my dad now, and you wouldn't know. But then he.
oh, has he still got it?
Well, I think he's over it now. But you know what I mean? I think he's recovered again.
But the other side maybe dropped down to.
That could be it. That could have just been the age. The other side just got drippier.
He hasn't lost it at all. He's just caught up.
But he got a bit of cosmetic surgery done for it because
Did he?
my dad was a big snooker player back in the day. So
Good,
he
like?
would've- yeah, he was good. Like I think he's won an All Ireland
Fuck.
golf club competition before twice actually, or maybe it might be Northern Ireland. maybe.
Played snooker in a golf club.
Yeah,
So what's his highest break?
127.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's his highest
There's a
break.
guy in our town. Hey, he missed the black for 147.
Oh, and that'd be the end of him.
Break
That'd be-
your heart. My uncle Cal played Alex. My uncle Cal was a decent player.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not as good. Back then. See when your dad played back in the day
Yeah.
too. That's a massive break.
Yeah,
147 now. All the pros do it, I think.
yeah.
But he was a drinker too. Drink took him out, killed him actually. Fucking, but
Because he missed that last ball. That's fucking the end of it. I would do
Fuck
it.
it.
Yeah.
And I fucking went on. He beat Higgins one frame, and this was when Higgins was world champion. I think it was 5-1. But
Now, when you say he beat Higgins, was it Higgins or was Higgins party Higgins?
they were drinking.
Okay.
But it's still
Yeah, it's-
bragging rights.
it's good.
Nobody asked what the score was. It's just they beat him a frame. Do you know what I mean? So we brought him home. And in the middle of the night, my granny got up, who she was always wicked. No fucking.
Yeah.
Came down the stairs, seen Alex Higgins laying on the sofa, and said, "Get that orange bastard out of here." My uncle Calvin, it's Alex Higgins, the world champion. I don't give a fuck. Get him out. So the two of them had to leave and go somewhere else to drink.
But no, my dad, like he had like a bit of the lid off, or like here because when it was hanging, when he leant down, he couldn't see the shot. So he had a wee,
Shut up.
He had a wee bit of it nicked off. Now he's finished now. But I always think my dad would have been growing up would have been friends with Mark Allen's dad, so he would have known him over the years.
Right.
And I think like I'm maybe a year younger than Mark.
Where did they play? Where's the local?
I don't know because I think they're in Antrim. I know they.
Does he not play now? Like an old.
I think he's going to go back to it now, but I think it's one of those things when you lose it, he's like, fucking annoyed me too much. I didn't have any of my skill. I lost it all. It's fucking.
And I think you
annoying
do.
me.
You have to practice in innings, like stand up or even
Yeah.
draw. See artists, like I used to be able to draw when I was at school.
Yeah.
One of the best in my class, and then you would try and go back to it. You're just
Yeah.
fucking.
See, look, with the kids, that's what I found recently. The girls have been like, can you draw me a static? Well, I'll try.
Aye.
I can't guarantee.
Could you ever draw?
I was decent enough, I think.
Aye.
That's. But like they want me to draw all these Disney characters and all, and they're like, that doesn't look like her. I'm like, fucking try.
You need a projector on so you can trace
Jesus
it.
Christ. But I think growing up, him and Mark's dad would have been like, thought of these two boys, these are going to be our prodigies. They're going to be snooker.
Aye.
And then I was shite. Like just,
Aye.
I remember losing the head of me at the table and all being like, you need to, and I was like, I can't see over the fucking table. I'm too weird. I hate it, you know. And then now he's like, anytime Mark's playing, he'll go over and watch him, and
Class.
it'll be like, I think the son that he really wanted.
Aye.
You know, I think that's what he, you know. And then so
sure, you're doing well
there's that.
yourself.
Fuck, I'm doing all right, but I mean, I'm not.
You're on TV.
Well, stop.
We don't like talking about it, but hey, that was great.
Yeah.
Look how big the boys the Gus can look when the camera's on us.
I know.
You do look
Yeah.
bigger when you're on TV.
Oh, aye.
100%. But I was saying, you would put me in mind, especially when you had the thick hair of Pluto.
Yeah, I got that a lot. I do.
Popeye's Pluto. I was thinking, you're a definite cert. They fight the comedians boxing.
You know what? It was weird because last year I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't at all. And I think...
and nobody wanted to fight you either because they got that in the grapevine too. But it was all the wee Williams and all.
But you know what? It's like, I think... I don't like being goaded into things. You know what I mean? And like, you know what Shane's like? He say, "Oh, you're gonna." It's like, no, I'm not in school anymore. I'm not gonna fall for it.
Stop telling me.
I'm not gonna fall for it. I also feel like I wouldn't enjoy it because I would take it too serious.
Aye.
And then I would be fucking angry and all. And then if you're in there and you get angry, people be like, "Oh, fuck's sake," you know, or so there. So there's that. Plus, I just had a tooth out there not long ago. It fucking cost me an arm and a leg. And I'm like, I don't want any more teeth. My teeth are already all over.
You'd have to fight Kesey or something too. When
Yeah.
Kesey, retired champion, got a walkover, didn't have to fight because he was too heavy when he was younger. But
yeah, well, that's an impressive way to do it.
Tyrone champion never flew a punch.
Like, if I were to do it, like the only ones I'd probably be paired with would be either Colin, Kesey, Kieran, or maybe Paddy.
See, I don't think Kieran. I think Kieran's. You're like Colin. You're a big fella as well as a bit of weight.
Yeah,
Where Kieran and Connor are more weight.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah. But you know, but see, that leading up to this year, it was hard. I was like, I'm getting that itch. Like, I like
That's what happened to Colin last year. You
Yeah.
see,
You know,
he was there the whole night in the
Yeah.
atmosphere and fucking.
But what I will say is, when I got back to the commentary, I'm like, no, I love this. This is fun. Like, that's fun. You
Aye,
know?
aye.
That was good fun.
And you get to watch every single person fighting. You knew.
But you know what? There was a weird feeling this year because I felt like obviously you had the main event, you got the win this year. We'd spoken before about the reaction to last year's fight.
Last year, my situation snowballed because we were on about it in my pod too. But fighting Paddy, and we all know now it was arranged. It was an arranged marriage, if you know what I mean.
It was a Pakistani fight, so to speak.
Exactly, and I rang Paddy when they matched. Paddy took it because Paddy was the hired man of comedy. And then somebody says, he said, who could I fight? And somebody offered, why don't you fight Ronan Boyle? I think he didn't even know me at the time.
Yeah.
Well, I know he just heard of me, but we didn't really gig much together, I don't think. We did gig, but nothing memorable, I don't think. But he says, I'll fight anybody. You know what I mean? And then I rang him straight away because it was good for my profile. They fight Paddy. I said, Paddy.
But I think about this, 2 main events you've got in that 2 years in a row. There you go.
And Brona did an article in the Irish News, didn't even mention me. You know what I mean?
Hurtful.
But I know where Bruno's coming from, 100%, because Bruna didn't even train hardly. This was all the crack for her.
Yeah.
She was like some of the comedians the first time round.
Yes.
So it was just all about the charity, which I don't...
Because that's like, I had that experience with the marathon. I did a leg of the marathon for charity. It's like, as long as I finish it, that's the thing.
Aye.
You know, and then when you do it and you're fucking Aaron Butler being like, oh, and you're just like, shut up, at least I'm doing it. You know
what was
I mean?
Aaron saying?
He's being a wee bollocks, just being a wee dick. And then it annoyed me a bit. And then obviously he did it. And I was like, you know, to be happy you did it. Don't have to mock me. Yes, I know. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I've had a good go. You know what I mean? I'm giving it a go.
Well, I give it a go, and I got... So, the first fight with Paddy. Now, the talk was that it was a tight fight, and after it even...
Yeah.
Paddy went on a few pods and reckoned if he trained more, he probably could have got it. The one and all that. But you seen the wee flurry at the end that we were talking about before. Were we on another pod on about this?
No, I think it was just before the fight, maybe, or
something like that, or a gig.
In the wee thing we did, the gloves are off thing we did.
That's what it was. We did a wee. You interviewed me for the thing. That's what it was. And we got stuck in. So I rang. Paddy knew too that we didn't train for it, and then it was like, right, get us one to fight. The good fair play to get us is some balls because he could have fought anybody. Like Talal was lined up and stuff, and he could have had a lot of easier night with anybody else because I felt it was right. By grade 10. So and then they put the poster out and it was all the boys' names, and I was a wee footnote, and I was going, right.
So that like the fire in the belly, so to speak.
The other thing was Straban. This is my point. Whenever you were on about Straban, fucking roasted me when I came back, and they were all like, "What happened there?" And all I paid for it, and I was telling my friends, "We did see this?" And you did nothing, and I went, "Boys, charity won."
Yeah.
Do you know it was for men's mental health? You aren't fucking helping my mental health here. But so I says, I'm going to go to a boxing club. There's no point me driving away to Derry to join the blue team that are all just learning how to box.
Yeah.
So I just joined a club. And I didn't ask for any special treatment. I just joined in. But what they did do, they knew if I had a fight coming up, and when they closed the club, they still trained me for the next 4 weeks.
Nice.
Which is tight because they're on you.
Yeah.
But they were happy with the progress, and I just let everybody else do the talking then and didn't really show anything out. And the reason I got it done quick is there's no way I could have fought Geddes the way I fought Paddy.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's no way I could go on, let me see what you've got.
Yeah.
He hits too hard.
Yeah.
Like he hit me there and a bump just came straight up.
Yeah. Like
If you could see it, it just straight away and I went, right, I need to get this done with quick and just get stuck in.
But that's the thing, like I have he was there and he did it, you know what I mean? No matter
Some
what,
balls.
you have to fucking
And I must have been scared because if I was going into my first fight in front of thousands of people with somebody that's already fought, do you know what I mean?
But then, like, if you're booking, devil's advocate here, if I'm booking fights off the back of it, you would go, either you do you versus Paddy, the rematch, or you go, well, Paddy's going to go, in his mind, he got to draw you, and you beat Colin. So then he'd probably think, I could beat Colin. And then maybe
what happened was
Colin and Paddy together, maybe?
on the day of the fight, Paddy took another fight after this one.
Yes.
Which I thought, what he's at, boys.
Yeah.
Experience this, feel what you think, and then maybe do.
'Cause that's it, if you get battered and you hate it, and you're like, fuck, I have to do it again.
And it's paid, he's getting paid for this fight. Like.
Yeah.
It's like a semi-pro. Anyway.
Against the bear, isn't it?
So he said to me,
Yeah.
before the fight that day, when we were on getting the photos, remember at the start and all, remember the doctor came out and get...
I know, said it's all friends, fun and games, and you're like...
These are all comedians, remember, don't hit in the face.
And then friggin'...
We're all looking...
And they're going to batter the heads to each other, you're like, fuck me.
So Paddy said to me, hey, see the bear, he mightn't make weight. If he doesn't, would you fight instead?
Against you?
And I says, Paddy, go and do me a favour and wait and watch me and Colin fight, and then ask me.
Yeah.
So the next day he rang me and said, you know what, I wouldn't think would be suited. You know what I mean? If I had went on like that to Paddy, like, would have been a different story.
Yeah, but, I mean, because that's the sort of thing, obviously, everyone this time, it felt there was more of a... Because people have been through it, it felt there was more of a
better
camaraderie this year.
People,
Everyone's looking forward to it. But obviously, like, it must be...
See, when you see Colin getting into the ring, sir, he was massive. Like.
Yeah, no, he's a big
looking
fella.
and going...
But you know what? I was really proud of him as a mate, like, you know, when you see it and you're going, like, fuck, because it would be... This is the thing, I think, obviously, there'll be arseholes out there that sit behind their fucking keyboard and I'll go, oh, you could be... You know, the guy's gone in there, he's taken the hardest fight there is. And
the hardest fight possible, because I was telling everybody there's no, because last year was what it was.
Yeah.
That I was held back because I didn't think it would be fair to go on and start. But Colin asked to fight.
Yeah.
And I says, do you want to go proper fight? He goes, aye.
But that's a, you know, that's...
And I wouldn't have been as impressive if I didn't train properly for it.
Yeah.
Like, I got down 2 stone.
Because I did notice, see, when you walk out, like, it was... You're like, fuck, you looking great, Nick. And even in the
trained for a fight.
like, he looks good.
Aye.
You know, but you can sort of tell. And I think, like, being ringside for both fights for you, you could see the mind was like, no. You're almost like, I could just hear all the voices of Strabane going like...
Every voice is Strabane when you hear you.
But you know what? I have to give credit where it's due. Paddy was much improved this year as well. I
don't get me wrong. And this is the other conversation me and Paddy were having. And this is why I openly talk about the first fight. Because we did chat about how shite we were. Like last year, I didn't really train for it. I had the bag the odd time. Was vaping right up there, got called, and then went out. And I even noticed I should have did some because some of my distance was off and all. But if you seen that, I was just sort of flowing out and enjoying myself. But people didn't like it. The stick we got, the both of us got after it, and stories and whatnot. So I says, right, I need to put this straight so nobody asks me to do it again.
Yeah, and would you do it again, or are you?
No, that's me.
No, yeah,
that's me.
Because that'd be an interesting one. Because you're going. I know a few people are hanging up the gloves. Shane's one of them.
We didn't see the truth. Whole Irish fight again.
But would I think he's entirely retired? I don't know. I think
Shane?
I think he enjoys it too much.
Well, his team in there when we were doing the last pod says they can't wait till it's over.
Yeah.
Like it was a while long wait.
Yeah.
6 months of people
like
at it.
I think that's what Dan would say. Be like, well, he's a professional boxer now, but we're a podcast, but we need him to be here and be doing this. Like,
and you lose your creativity because you just can't. You know yourself. You're a man too that if it's all duck and no dinner.
Yeah.
Do you know if you're going after someone, you go after it, and then everything else takes even your wins.
Yeah, and that's my problem. I get into stuff and then it becomes stupid. You know what I mean, and then
obsessive.
And then I'd be the one too that would fucking lose a tooth or break a nose or something, get an orbital bone caved in, and then my wife would be like, I fucking told you not to do it.
Before this fight too, when you this is the thing about heavyweights. He lands the right punch, I'm getting KO'd.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. No, and I know that from experience. I've seen boys close the eyes and swing overhand rights and clock them boys.
Yeah.
And
see, that's the thing too. Like I'm a big boxing fan. We watch a lot of it, and I know it's like I respect it and don't think it's an easy thing you bounce into. You know. So I think last year some people are like, oh, but you're going no.
Well, Bruno was like that this year, I think.
Yeah.
where everybody were ones were last
But
year.
in fairness, that was a mismatch in terms of even size. You're going, come on.
I didn't
Like,
get to see it because it was fucking.
Like I love Leona and I love Bruno,
Aye.
but I didn't like. To me, I just thought like Bruno was like a normal sized woman.
No,
but
she's
in
tall.
there, I was like, Bruno's wee.
Aye,
Like,
Bruno's
she's really
tiny.
wee. Diona's really, and Diona is like, I know
She
she's
thought
been,
she was going to be scrappy too.
Yeah,
with a Scooby.
but I think like if you're making fights again next time, you probably want to see maybe Diona versus Rachel or Heather next time, mate. And
Aye,
see how
Heather
that goes.
isn't the mystery.
Fuck me, the Hammer. Yeah, she was
Half the men wouldn't fight fucking Heather.
No, because like that was the first. I remember last year whenever Cormac fought Ian. That
was sort
the
of
first
mismatch.
fight. But even when they came in, just the noise of them hitting, I remember sitting like, fuck me. But that was the same with Heather and Rachel this year, and you were going, if nobody's going to hit that as hard as those girls are hitting each other, it was fucking unbelievable. And the technique, and
I know, and
it
the
was-
technique,
it
and
was
it's
brilliant.
like last year too, and this is what happens. And this is what, like, I can either go on the fight or on a not the fight.
Yeah.
And see, when you're on the fight, you're on the fight.
Yeah.
And so that's the mode I was in. Where Mickey and, if you look at Mickey and McKerney last year, they were saying, we'll probably just fucking hug each other in the
Yeah.
middle. And
Yeah.
then Mickey went in and started,
yeah,
because you're, it's like, we're cavemen, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're just like,
but I think
Coliseum, that's it.
because I remember a friend of mine did white collar boxing. We went to watch him, and he was like big unit, and we went in, and he'd been doing all his training. We're watching him in the bag, watching his videos, and all. We're like, he's got a bit of form. Someone whacked him up the face. He lost the head, and he just fuck up. It all goes out the window. Like it's all the mind. I think it'd be
We've seen a hired man from Strabane in a white collar, and he's known as a hired man for fighting,
yeah.
like.
The hard man from Strabane. That's
Yeah. Hugo, and then what he did was,
Duncan?
yeah,
It's fucking right.
you knew he was just running around trying to. If he was given an option, he probably wouldn't have wore a left glove. So he was one of these boys that grab you with a left.
Yeah.
Hit you with the right. That's his fighting technique. That's it. And he just chased the boy around, swinging and missing. The boy was half his weight, beat him because
Yeah.
it's a different thing.
Yeah, no, totally.
It's a completely different thing. Like if you the size you and you throw a wobbler in here, you could throw it off the boy and throw him against the wall, but he'd
Yeah.
probably box the ears because
Yeah.
it's a sport.
Yeah, and that's
Sure, I did a pod with Shane, we what do you call him? Macomb.
yeah,
All the sizes we had.
Yeah.
Of all the people that be sitting beside in the podcast.
Yeah.
Every time it panned to me, it was just.
yeah. Sure, I did Shane's podcast a couple of weeks ago with his dad, and I'm sitting there like something out of fucking Gulliver's Travels. You know, and his wee dad's in the corner. I was like, "Fuck me, Bennett."
Aye.
Of all the days to be here, like,
Just
you
the
know?
tiniest person in the world beside you.
Yeah,
Like,
but like that was what I found tonight. That was the first time I'd like properly met Jamie Conlon, and he was brilliant. Did you get to listen to that?
didn't even get to watch anything back.
No, he was. But there's actually
It's sent there WhatsApp,
questions
but I
there.
don't know how to download
But
on my computer from WhatsApp.
It's he was very good. Now.
Aye.
I think they did the analyst side really well. So I was asking him, like what's good, and he's saying the fundamentals here are good, and a lot of people the footwork's there. And then but he was like Simon Cowell. So sometimes you just roast people, you know, and it'd be out of nowhere, and you'd be like, "Fuck me," you know. It's like, all right, yeah,
Oh,
he's great.
he's got it on his.
But he to me, it's like that's what you want when you have someone because he knows what he's talking about, but also he can have a bit of
So you can keep the comedy side of things going because there's some stuff that's happening you probably don't understand or whatever, but you probably do because of boxing. But having a genuine professional fighter there,
yeah. Because I was like, even for us thinking the people at home this time, I was going like, what does this mean or what does that mean for someone like what's the deal with like the head guards with the open faces? What's
Aye.
the ones with the what's the difference? Does that have? Does you know?
they're actually worse the more you're covered. I think.
Yeah.
The girls were wearing like fucking
Yeah.
jousting masks.
That was what Rachel's. Whenever I had her on here, she was saying that like whenever I got hit, like it was going over the eyes and I couldn't
Aye.
see something. That was fucking trying to annoy. And
You
don't
get
have your
5,
hands,
6 more.
You know, you get annoyed. Because that's what Colin had said about like when he was fighting you. It was like you just threw so many. It was like fucking you're almost like fuck off. Just fucking fuck off and hit me, would you?
So that would have been what Paddy would have experienced the year
Yeah.
before. Me standing and waiting to see what Paddy's going to do, and
Yeah.
then just rolling and making sort of a bit of a show for everybody.
Yeah.
But we get us, would you like? And I
Yeah.
came out like a man on a mission too.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I have to fucking just get on.
Yeah.
And we trained to stay in the centre. Like, see him throw me across the ring just by a wee.
Yeah.
I just went skipping
He's
across.
he's
strong and big.
Yeah.
And when he hit me that right hand too, I fucking felt it.
Yeah.
And I says, I can't play about here because if I do,
Yeah.
I could be
That's it. If
fucking
you
flying.
fuck about, you could get.
You can't mess
clipped.
about that if you're going on against somebody that's he's been training the fight too.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, with the proper trainers and stuff too? But
Yeah.
maybe I would say he might do it again. Maybe they just get the 3 rounds out of it with somebody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm just got the booking head on. I would feel like I'd need to almost be like, right, let's just go no, let's get me doing something, because otherwise I might be like, oh.
They're talking about wrestling, sure, weren't they?
Well, see, I've been saying this for years now. I think
Apparently,
I would
you'd
see-
need if we're going to do it, you'd need a wrestler, the tag team along me, to make it look like wrestling.
Well, yes, you would need something, but you could do it. There's a few ways to do it.
Well, he wants to do it. He reckons he can lift me above his head.
But
This is Willie.
I don't know about that. I think Willie's maybe taking a few round the head after that as well. But I know it could be fun.
We were
There's-
drunk after the night.
but there's ways. I think there's ways to do it. There's
Aye.
anything you could do. You know, what I mean?
Clotheslines, and we'd have to go to a wee camping and get taught what we're at.
Yeah,
Like.
because I was.
But it'd
I
be
was-
funny, wouldn't it?
I was looking at doing a wee bit last year actually, and then it just didn't come to be. I was going to work on and maybe do like a crossover thing.
Aye.
But
That'd be funny.
It's fun. I did a wee bit of wrestling training back in the day,
Did
just
you?
for fun, like, and it was tiring enough. You know, it was
Man.
hard going. Like, those boys are not like, everyone's like it's fake and all this. It's not. No way.
That's one of the things that I changed my mind about when I was younger. And I used to love the wrestling, Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, all
Yeah.
them days. Then I sort of moved on a bit and just said it's all fake.
Yeah.
Is it fuck? Man, the documentaries and all, and the podcasts that I watch now, and the injury, like Hogan, I think Hogan's lost 3 inches in height
Yeah, just
from
the
getting
leg drop.
fucking tombstones and fucking.
Yeah. But-
you know, and every bone's been broke and every surgery. Do you ever see the dives? Do you? And what was it, Mankind and
How he
Undertaker?
can walk now, I don't have no idea. Like, he's a mental bastard.
Jesus.
But that's the thing is, like, I find there's a lot of similarities. People are probably going to go, shut up, Dave. But a lot of similarities between stand-up and wrestling in terms of, like, the life.
Aye.
Life, you're traveling lots. You're out by yourself. You have to find ways to make yourself stand out in a world full of other, you know what I mean. And obviously the promo side of things is all. So I would listen to Chris Jericho's podcast a fair bit and like listen to his road stories. You're like, it's a bit like stand up. You're going to a different venue every night. You're meeting these other people. You've arseholes everywhere that you do.
Everywhere you go, and the changing rooms are all
Yeah.
sort of 1 minute you're in a wee shit hole, next minute you've got your own room with fucking mirrors and lights.
And it's all like the same sort of thing. You start off in a gym somewhere with like 6 people.
Aye.
You start off and then you get into the big spots. But it does sound fun. The social side of it back in the day, going and doing the gigs and out in pints for the
What do you
boys.
call it? The woo!
Ric Flair. Oh,
Jesus.
he's the nature boy.
He's a
for reason.
phenomenon, but the way he goes,
He even still now. He's
still in the rip,
but-
still in the session.
But I had a guy on Big Demo on the pod one day, and he was in WWE there for a while, and he's doing a lot of, and he's like a big. But then you see him here, and you're like, he's a fucking big handsome bastard. You know what I mean?
Who?
Like, because he looks like his character's like this big fucking mad hairy. And then here I'm looking at him going, there's a guy in great shape.
Aye.
Just and he's traveling the world.
I wonder they do. I would
Killing
say it's like they definitely have to be more looking after themselves and in gyms and stuff now compared to the rock and roll lifestyle of before. Well, it depends who they are.
Because I remember back in the day, whenever there was a big ice cloud or ash cloud from Iceland came over here. The wrestlers were stuck here.
Word.
WWE wrestlers were stuck in Belfast, and they were training up at the gym just out the way there. It's Bannatynes now, but it would have been a Sport or Virgin Active
Fans
back in
up
the day.
hanging around it.
And like that was what it was. My sister, I used to go there, and my sister was working there, and I was home just minding my business. She was, you need to come to the gym. And I was like, you piss off. I've been once today. That's that does me. She goes, no, you need to come now. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, trust me, just come now. So I turned up, and there were a load of them. There's John Cena was there.
Shut up.
Sheamus, Batista.
Big Shamey.
Yeah. So Big Shamey was there. He was sound as a pound. Batista, Chavo Guerrero, like a load of them. But it was Batista who impressed me the most because he was just, and Sheamus just, you know, they exaggerate the size.
Aye.
Well, Batista was in his wrestling stage, so he was like a big, but he was wearing like.
He's the Hollywood star, right? Aye.
Yeah, but he was big. He was fucking huge.
Aye, he was
must have been
massive
about
back then.
6'3", and he was wearing thong flip flops, a pair of like grey sweat bottoms, skin tight vest, and a wee pink nose ring. And I was like, it's a bit, it's a odd choice here. But then I'm also going, you could eat me alive if you wished. But
And a big gentleman, because I watched him doing that Bear Grylls,
yeah,
and it was like, Jesus, everybody, it's mad. Everybody thinks people that are in the public eye are full of confidence and full of this. And
yeah, I'd say not at all with him. I waited till he finished the set and was like, can you sign my wee, I was just like signing, it wasn't even before phones, like, can you sign my wee workout sheet, please? And I got him and Sheamus to sign it because I did a set of shrugs with Sheamus. So it was,
did you?
I was like, oh, work with me. And I fucking,
You trained with Sheamus?
yeah, so that was fun. But then I also got, I've told this story I think a few times, but totally, I got it handed to me in that gym one day. I was doing deadlifts. I was doing as heavy as I could do. It's fucking stacked up, and I was probably like early to 20s. You know, you're fucking ego lifting. I was like fucking getting all psyched up, and I couldn't do it, and left
Straps on and everything.
And I was like getting fucking my nose and eyes are running. And I was like, and then
Assaults.
Glenn Ross was working in the gym. And he walked over. And he just lifts it up, puts it in the squat rack, and he goes, "Put your weights away when you're finished." I was like, "Fuck off!" So then I had to go and fucking strip it all off and put it
Do you
back
see
together
the wee
again.
boy? There's somebody on TikTok doing that. He pretends he's mopping,
Yeah,
and then he goes over and lifts a weight. The boys are lifting above their head, and he does it with one arm and starts mopping and putting it back down. It's just like. So, who's your favourite wrestler of all time?
ooh, ever. It's a hard one. I sort of flip in and out, but I like Ric Flair. But when I was a kid, I loved Ultimate Warrior. When I was younger,
And he's probably got the least skills when you hear any
yeah, so he's shite.
Goldberg job. He just doesn't
Yeah,
have the.
goes in
Who's
direction.
the? And it's always asked. It's the Mount Rushmore of. I think Hulk Hogan has to go on it for what he's done to the sport.
He matches the podcast studio as well. Brother
Comes crashing down and it hurts
like
inside.
whenever we were kids, that was it. And
He
he's
was
turned out dealing with it for everyone. You're like, fucking right.
I went to America, Project
What's
Children. Do you know when they're during the Troubles, they send families away that are in the middle of the war, like, and Hulk Hogan was just on every TV.
Oh, I thought you were going to say to see Hulk Hogan. Hey, brother. It's like,
Hey, brother, which side are you on? We went over. It was
leg drops
just,
for them both.
I came back. I went back to school after the 6 weeks in America with bomber jackets with Hulk Hogan in the back and trousers and school bags and fucking lunch boxes and
But I
skateboards. Jealousy just dripping out of everybody.
yeah. But I enjoyed Hulk Hogan too. But the Warrior, Undertaker, I used to be afraid of. But he obviously lasted years and years, so he'd be there.
Back
I
in
liked
when he
Edge
just
back
come
in the
on.
day, whenever that was, because he was just a wee rat, and I found that entertaining to watch. So
Stone Cold, you have to give him a shout out.
see, I didn't like him at the time because I was a wee bit of a goody two shoes when I was a kid, and I was like, he's very
You were a babyface.
like he's very bad. You know, I was like, he's ignorant.
He's
This
very
guy,
bold.
He's ignorant.
He's too bold.
If he just respected his boss, he wouldn't even be in this trouble. You know? I was
But the Ultimate Warrior was a nut. It was all ropes.
yeah, but he I was probably like with Stone Cold as maybe a teenager, like early teens, and with Ultimate Warrior I was about 5 or 6, and it was just this big, muscly, bright dude.
He was just like a cartoon character.
So like nowadays, I think like people watch wrestling and go, his in-ring work wasn't the best, and back in the day, like he's bright and colourful, and I loved it.
The interviews was all you were doing it for.
Yeah, and
the
it
clotheslines.
didn't even make sense what he was saying.
No,
half the time.
looking around. Macho Man was good for the. He was the one of the best interviews.
I'd say if I was a bit older, I'd love the Macho Man.
Oh, it was him and Hulk Hogan. Oh yeah. And I remember back in my day, it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan produced the Barber Beefcake. I don't know how do I remember all these. But they were the main.
Papa Shango.
And it was like there was a cartoon out at the same time, and
Right.
and it was just fucking brilliant. So I was in America, and you just had it on all the time. Just
Brutus Beefcake, he was good because I had all the figurines when I was wee.
Aye.
And he had the shears.
Aye.
And like I could always, again, probably something undiagnosed in me when I was a child, but I remember going, how's he a hairdresser? He's got fucking garden shears. You know what I mean? Like who in their right mind said, and this guy cut their hair? Like, just use scissors.
everybody leaving me no ears, and I cut somebody's hair off every fight. Somebody got a lock took off him.
And they loved all that gimmick shit. That Jake the Snake, he was brilliant back in the day.
My dad looked a bit like him, so we always got sick of it. And he brought the real snake in biting
Yeah,
too.
and who did he bite? Was it Ultimate Warrior or Randy Savage? He's proper.
I think it was Randy that begged him, please don't put the snake on me, and all. I just.
But no, it's like.
And it was real chairs over heads and real.
Oh, aye.
No, I thought it was all like chairs that were sort of semi-broken. No.
Because that was it. I think the chairs were real, but the bins were made out of like
Aluminium,
like from tinfoil or something. Like, come on.
But the table, like some of the dives over the ropes into the commentators is just mental.
It would be like, because that's like having done it a bit. Like I said, did a bit of training, probably a few months at it. But like they did it all day on Sunday, and you're fucked. See, by the end of it, you're in your bed. Like fuck.
That's it.
You've bounced and your body's shaking and you're fucking rolling.
Even like when I used to do judo, out of all the I did a bit of MMA and all that there, and out of all the martial arts was judo. I didn't really like because it was all break falls. You were getting flipped all the time, and because I was big, it's just getting through on the ground. And you have to remember to slap out.
Yes,
to spread the fucking.
That's how the fall in wrestling. You have the
wrestling's the same.
That, but it would be because like then you look at all the deaths in wrestling. Like, so many people die from painkiller addictions and all this. So it's not they're like, oh, it's fake, is it? But you'd be fucking.
And then every night they're at it.
Yeah. And then
fucking every night.
a lot of boys on the sauce as well.
Straight after then or whatever else. Just
because the Undertaker has a podcast now, which is interesting because he can actually speak and he's not just going.
Because apparently he's the most talented. He had the most skills or something.
But I think he was doing it 30 odd years, but he was like a big scary bastard as well, and he'd
fight you outside.
But he'd love a drink as well. Apparently, he was a big party boy, and like they were saying like he was like the locker room leader, so he would keep you in check if you were out of order.
They were talking about I'm going to forget his name now, but I think he's the Rock's uncle. He's
Haku,
the hardest.
was he? Haku, yeah, he's supposed to be a scary bastard.
I was reading it. Like he bites noses off, and every wrestler, apparently even Brock Lesnar, who ended up an MMA world champion.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mess with him.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mess with this boy.
Because he said his head was made of rock. And like, he wouldn't have given him. He was a psycho as well.
Psycho, 2 drinks. Yeah. It was the sweetest guy in the world, but don't mess with him.
Yeah.
He'll pull your ear off.
You know what? I'm going to look up some Haku stories here because you wouldn't do it justice. Some of the,
no, there's it's just like what, and then it's another like. It's not even wives' tales because it's just different wrestlers getting asked the same questions and they're just all going to the one man.
Yeah, Haku. Everyone said Haku.
Without question.
Wrestling stories, wrestling.
Fighting. Bars.
Haku fight stories. If this guy.
Like, and the size of men, wrestlers and all that are just like.
Oh, hold on. On the 3rd of March 1989, Haku got into an altercation with some men at a Baltimore airport who called wrestling fake. Now, that's the thing you don't say.
There we go. We were talking about that.
And during the fight, Haku bit off the nose of one of the men and an ear of the other. Yes, it was in the Baltimore airport. Me, Siva and Afi went over and there's lots of baby faces in the bar. And the baby faces are all the good. Well, no faces anymore, but the nose off. So 15 stories about Haku being a mad bastard. Basically,
and that's the ones we know of.
This is unbelievable. 15 stories from him. So wrestlers just want to throw my name out there for the heck of it. He says, so no, this is just all stories of people saying he's the hardest. Ric Flair said, comparing MMA fighters to Haku, I don't think that anyone would mess with Haku. He was a young guy and he got into MMA. If he was a young guy and got into MMA, he'd have done everything. He's the toughest son of a bitch I've ever met in my whole life. No lie, take my word for it.
Or there's a story there where he popped somebody's eyeball out and it was hanging in a thread and all. So he wouldn't suit MMA maybe because of rules.
Yeah, he would struggle.
He's in thumbs in the face.
But like their whole character was savages, and I think he was just literally a savage.
And they reckon Big Andre too, if he decided.
Yeah, probably.
You know, they just took one and Hogan used to go into the gym and say, "What are we doing today, man?" You know.
One time there's a rough part of St. Louis for a show. Everybody had been drinking, a large fight broke out, which resulted in police showing up. Haku had a few drinks but saw the fight break out. So he tried breaking it up. In the process, one of the men hit him and he ended up taking out 6 men. Fucking hell. But now I think he works in as like a car salesman now, second-hand car dealer. And they're like, this guy here, he's probably just see like this nice wee old man now, and you're like, he's a mental bastard.
Aye. And he could probably, if he wanted to, get employed by UF or the WWE if he wanted, but you'd have to travel. They're probably fed up.
Yeah. And
15 years every day somewhere else.
But he came back. So he was in the 80s or in the early 90s, and then he came back for a wee stint in like the early 90s, just being a wild man with Rikishi and all. And they must have just been like...
Is he in the Young Rock show then?
He would be, he'd be there somewhere.
Do you know what? There is 2 Samoans. What are they called?
Well, it's the Wild Samoans. Whatever ones, yeah. But then they say like Islanders are a tough breed, like.
Oh, I have a mate from Australia. He says he went to New Zealand all the doormen in Australia where he was were all from New Zealand. What they're eating like,
and they're big boys too. Like you don't see.
They weed out the week you see during apparently when they were evolving. If you fucking couldn't do certain things,
like I said this before.
Eamon McElwee wouldn't last too long. But he's over there with edibles on him, you know.
Don't start me on edibles.
I heard that pod. I heard that pod. I don't know how he's doing it. They fucking.
Eamon, how much would you take of edibles? What would be sort of a regular amount?
Well, this is the thing. It's my first time taking them, and forever.
All right.
He smokes.
We're seeing how it goes.
And what have you had so far, roughly?
A whole pile.
No idea. 3 decent chunks.
Not his eyes. Every time I was turning around, man, he was eating them. I says, man, slow down because they hit you later on.
Because that's what happened to me. We had, I think the regular amount is about 200 milligrams to give you a wee buzz. It got to 3,000, I think we had that night, and not wise, not a good move. And all I felt the whole day.
I love it. Was it you came home and the family waiting for you, the welcome home and all, and you felt like the biggest scumbag?
Oh, I was like, and because it was like, do you ever do that? Like if you go, hold your breath and you do that and you're super lightheaded. I just felt like that forever. And I thought, I've broken part of my brain.
He's 40 minutes to do it an hour.
But listen, I'll tell you one thing I will say. I did stand up.
Did you?
And it was the best set that's ever happened everywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. Anywhere.
You said the same about doing the
Yeah.
Lavery's?
Yeah.
So we were we had a corporate last week. Was it the week before? And went well. Actually, went really well for a corporate, like. And then we had 3 hours to Lavery's. I was like, oh, dude. And he was smoking his fucking. And I said, give me a wee drag. I'll be all right. No, Lavery's just down. And it was like an open mic.
Yeah.
No, the fear.
Yeah.
Went down and smashed it.
Yeah.
I think it was just like for some reason. But was your story that you?
No, because I remember what we just had, because someone gave us 2 edibles after a gig we did, went really well. She's like, don't eat too much of this. Guy called Phil, shout out to you. And we went and had.
For people that never ever eat it too.
Yeah, and I'm not like.
I wouldn't have touched it.
But looking back, I've had trouble with weed, so I don't know why I thought edibles was a good idea.
Exactly.
But like, I get the real fucking anxiety and fear, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. But I did that, and it was grand, and I was feeling good when I was watching Shane on, and then I went on, and I was laughing, having a great time when I was there. But there was a distinct moment when I remember, and again, apologies to listeners who've heard this before, but I was looking at this little Asian man in the front row, and I thought in my head, like I remember distinctly having 2 different voices, one being like, do your Chinese accent, mate. And then the other one going, no, don't do it. And I was like, but they'll love it. And I was like, no, they won't. And then I was so close to just doing it, and then thankfully didn't. But I remember hearing, like, being up there, I was like, I thought this was going to be a hard day, and everyone's loving this. And then even like Dan and Shane were like, might have been the best set we've ever seen. As I think it might have been the best set that ever happened. And it's probably just a normal set, but because everyone was fucking whopped out on these edibles. And then on the way home, we were like, the edibles are great, let's get more. And that's just where it all went. If we had just left it and had a few drinks, been grand. But then
you spent and got more.
But then we went in, and it was like there was different sections. We were like, we'll go for a strong section, but we'll have a medium and the strong. So I think the bags were 500 milligram bags, 1,000 milligram bags, and 5,000 milligram bags. And we're like, we're not fucking animals, go for the middle. If I had a 5,000, I'd probably have died. It was fucking horrendous. And then I remember being at the bar, picking up the pints to carry them back, and then going, my legs don't work anymore. And then just going, how the fuck am I getting back? And then I started thinking,
But you just stood there?
No, I floated past the bouncer. I was like, all right. And then I was like, I have no control of my brain. And then I was walking back to the hotel. All I could think of, I got such anxiety. It's like, I'm going to fall into traffic and die. And then Catherine's going to be so fucking annoyed at me. Not that I'm dead, but that I was wiped out.
It's mad how the brain works.
And I was like, and she's going to be so cross at me. And then thankfully for us, Shane was like, look, I have my dick and balls out. And I was like,
did that happen?
Oh, yes.
Just turned around and boys.
He's like, look, aye. And it was like, oh, well, thank God he did that. At least I know I'm not. But he was having a great time. And then the next morning, I'll show you a photo. In fact, I'll show it now, because your reaction will be great on this. But we did, hold on.
So did it last that long? Did the next morning, like?
Oh, it lasted a week.
Shut up.
The guts of a week.
You felt on for a week.
Oh, like I remember I was doing my washing, and I hunched down to go to the wash me, and when I stood up too quick, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm wired again here. It was but where is the photo? Oh, it's fucking horrendous. But there's the photo, right?
Jesus.
So my thought again, Superman anxiety here. Hadn't packed my bag, woke up after 11, we're to check out at 11, and I'm going, I've nothing packed, I'm fucking firing everything in the bag, stressing out. And I'm going downstairs thinking, for a start I thought, I can't walk. I had to throw water in my face now because it's still wiped out. I was like, I'm going to have to phone an ambulance here or cancel this flight. I can't go on it. I'm and all I could think was, you're a fucking disgrace. You're a fucking disgrace. And then I went down to the thing being like, Dan's going to be raging, Shane will be pissed off at me, they'll all be like, you're a fucking disgrace. And I turned around into the foyer of the hotel, was greeted with that. So the two of them, like, zoom in on Shane's face. Like, he's the most green man I've ever seen. Wiped out.
Mr. Coggenballs,
Yeah,
Mr.
like,
Coggenballs.
absolutely.
Oh, man.
And like, he's great.
Who's that?
That's Dan. Yeah, so
Oh, Dan joined on too?
Yeah. Dan, the only one that got away
I
with it
never
was Willie.
thought that. See,
Yeah.
you would think there they had a serious pile of drink in them from the night before.
Oh yeah, but I think we maybe. But then this is the thing. I think we had a bit of drink as
And
well.
Shane doesn't drink or party or do anything like that. That'll do him now for 10 years.
I think I might be him done. I don't.
Aye.
I would be surprised if he would.
He would never
I'll
dabble.
show him in that there too. Look, there's stadium, the green.
What the hell?
So not a well man. So
Are you feeling that now?
so was the photo we mocked up of him here. Or Litvinenko in the hospital, you know. But it was
Oh, I'll put that out.
it was a bad day for everyone. And then like on the flight, now the only good thing I will say, we went to watch a baseball game and it was New York Mets and they laid on a fucking great day for us. And I felt like such an ungrateful bastard because I went out into the sun and sat down to watch a bit of baseball. I was like, I can't, no.
can't watch it?
I thought, I'm just going to sweat and die.
Aye.
So I went in and just ate the complimentary ice cream until I had to go home.
I just sat in the shade.
Like, that was another thing. I didn't get the shower either because I just woken up. And was
What
like,
were you over there at a gig?
yeah, we were doing a gig and then a podcast, and it was fucking wild. And that night we did the podcast.
So did you just so you weren't thinking, right, we'll get the gig in the pod out of the way and then we'll go and have a wee...
Well, it was the FA Cup final day, and it was the last day before we were going home the next day, and I had gone out. It was 10 in the morning. The FA Cup final kicked off in New York, so I said, "Look, I'm going to go and look some presents for the girls here, and then if you're watching the match, I'll come and join you." And it's 10 o'clock. I'm not going to have a drink, so that was my thinking. And then I got to the bar, and Dan and Shane were the only two out, but you had to pay a tenner to get in, and you got a tin of beer. So they didn't want their beer, and I was watching the football. I'm like, it's last day of holidays.
Take a
I'll
free
fucking
beer.
have a beer. So I had my beer, and then I had their beer. So that's 3 beers I had. And then we did the podcast during the afternoon, and went in, and they looked like they had nice cocktails. I had a couple of Bloody Marys, and then another cocktail, and I had a stout.
Oh, so you were drunk
As
before
well.
you started... You hit
So
the,
yeah, I was having a nice time, you know, and I don't really
Bloody
have a drink
Marys
anymore,
and
you know,
beers
so
and fucking-
I just had a great time during the podcast, and then because we did a gig the night before, and I felt I just did fine. You know, it was first gig. I thought I would say it was good. The one after, fine. It was shattered. I was like, and I was, you know, you get grumpy yourself, like fuck's sake. So after that, I was like, you know, I had a great one before the podcast. I was like, oh, I'm here. I'm on it.
Aye.
And then we went and did that one when I taken the edibles. I was like, I'm the king of the world here.
That's what I do.
So I just been drinking and had ciders as well and beers and then edibles. And now I think about it when I go through, I had a lot to drink that day as well. It's any wonder my brain fucking gave up. But it's more, that's the thing. I don't care much about me, but it's people being cross with me. I hate. And
Do you?
Like Catherine would be like, you've let down the whole family. I'm like, you know, I could just sit and get through the hangover of the fucking the whitey myself. But it's the thought of letting everyone like, it's like, you know, yourself, when you're a dad, you're like, you have a bit of responsibility.
I'm a whore. But see, fucking Connor went away a few comedians to Amsterdam. He says never again. He says it was like a crash. He said it was like him being the youth worker and everybody else just fucking freaking out and whiting.
But Connor Keys,
Aye.
going away with him is like, and him going, these are lightweights, is like Ron Jeremy going, you have a small dick. You know what I mean? This guy's the fucking king of dicks.
I fucking toured with Connor whenever he was doing his stand-up tour. I was his opening act.
Yeah.
And I had to go with the window down. Just.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, I said, man, if I smoked that, I wouldn't get out of the car. I wouldn't open for you. Like, it would send me the other direction. It would make me run the other way, like.
No,
and every gig, I swear to God, I would have sat down. His shirt was, say, the pocket in the shirt was just joints the whole way across. Boys just going over.
Yeah.
Fucking all the podcast listeners, just giving them whatever, edibles, whatever.
That's a level I'm
On the side there, wee Gargamel just. Man!
What do you want to achieve? Loads of gear. That's
it.
That is the goal.
We're actually doing a gig on Saturday that we're not hearing about until the last minute.
Oh no! What's that? How?
It's like a hemp. Belfast hemp. We did one last year. It was on, but last year I did a live pod in Strabane.
Yeah.
250 people. Great fucking gig. But after it, it's mad. You're meant to be the star of the show, but I was taking down the posters and taking the mics down and all that there, where the rest of them were all drinking. So I was stressed out. Next day we ended up in Ballyronan, this thing that they do every year where it's just all smokers.
Yeah.
And there were actually
Like
people...
smokers or just legit smoke?
Legit smokers.
Wacky back.
Oh, wacky back.
Why am I 70? It was the wacky back. Yeah, it was the fuck me.
They were actually selling mushroom soup and tea and stuff like that and all. So we were landing, we were going, oh no, this is like the worst place to do a gig because everybody's just lying like that.
Yeah.
And then it was like a great gig because it was so chilled out. People were watching, you were telling a joke, they stopped,
Yeah.
gave you the thumbs up and then went on. So I don't know if it's the same crowd doing it, but it's got me, Connor McKegney, and Aaron Butler. And they're going to tell us where it is on Saturday morning.
Butler. Like
They can't tell anybody until the last minute.
No,
See,
but I
but
mean,
everybody's got their tickets.
of all the guys, you guys at all, but Butler's a clean living guy almost.
Oh, it's the cleanest.
So that'd be he, you never know. He gets a whiff of something that could be him.
That's it.
Off.
He
Gone.
could too, because the whole place would probably be like it.
Do you know roughly where it is?
Haven't a clue.
No.
And we keep asking, and it says that we'll be back with. So I doubt that they don't want.
Yeah.
It's like one of them raves. We're not going to tell you where it is.
Well,
until
you know
it's-
what? If you told me now, I'd be straight to 101. I know what's going on here.
So that's what's happening this Saturday. We're looking for Keezy. Can't wait. 'Cause it's like
It'll be like his fucking Christmas.
Oh, aye. And everybody will know. He'll be like the Godfather. He'll be like Joey Diaz landing.
Oh, that would be.
I'll just be hiding behind him.
But I just don't know. For me, never again. Never again.
I had an edible before and I took a serious panic attack, so
Yeah.
I'll never do it. He was trying to offer me it in the car. He says, like, it looks like I'm going to have to do an hour and a half.
Yeah. No, you're going to be doing a full fucking George Carlin set right there.
Go and take a photo of him.
And I got preached, and I could tell it, Father Ted,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you don't see what we're seeing. It's just fucking epic.
You know what? This is. I would love to. I'm going to have to get a photo of this.
I'm putting it up while we're talking now. Definitely, because I don't know how he's going to do the gig.
You know what? Listen.
I'll do it, all right.
And are you staying up after the gig, or you just going
No,
back?
you know what? We're going down around the Laveries. They pick up McCann. They bring him home.
Yeah, right, okay.
Because he was going to hotel. I says, you know what? We're next door.
Yeah.
May as well get down with
Well,
us.
so you're having a great time then? You're living life over there. Yeah.
Do we selfish at all?
Well, listen, I will let you go because of another wee thing I need you to do. So I'll let you wrap it up. Anything you're promoting at the minute?
Do you know what? The next show in the Boiler Room, and it's one of the best clubs about, anybody watching this, is the 12th of July. The big man's bringing his tour. And it's flying so far, isn't it? So
Yeah, it's been. You know what? It's been the best tour I've done in terms of reaction to the show. I love the hour, love it, and yeah, everyone's been very.
I haven't watched it either. So
Apart from Armagh, everywhere
looking forward to
has been everywhere has been great. So
Well, was Armagh rough enough?
I still like a room.
Right.
Still like a room.
But by the time you get the Strabane in, you're going to.
On the 12th.
And we're bringing a big Protestant to Strabane on the 12th.
Listen.
They keep it real. Strabane's on the Orange Man over there.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. And anybody that you'll see the links in all my bios and all that there, Craig, get on it now. We have a couple. Well, it's next week now. If this goes out.
Yeah, it'll be actually on Saturday, so it'll be 2 days time.
Saturday.
This will be on the 10th.
And everybody's off. And it's a drink.
And
Let's
you've
go out
probably
and
looking for something to do
celebrate.
because you'll be obviously it's the purge on the 11th, so everyone will be hiding, afraid, and then 12th be looking for something to do.
Yeah.
Boiler room.
Can't
Strabane,
beat
what
it.
a room it is too.
The
Last
best.
time I was in the Boiler room, Arsenal threw the title away last season.
That's
The
right.
season before, fucking
3 each, was it? Or
heartbreak.
something?
Yes, against somebody shy like Southampton. Fuck me. Heartbreak.
Aye, but you smashed it that day. You and Colin
great
came down, I
fun.
think.
Aye,
It was a brilliant man. We had it there on Saturday again, there past Mickey Bartlett. And it was just, we were meant to do it the Thursday, the night after the fight. And I said,
Yeah.
Mickey, why are we doing the Boiler Room after the fight? Because we'll
Yeah.
be going to drink. He said, we'll do it. So I booked Jasmine and Bruna and all that. And then Mickey texts me, he goes, hey, I'm going to Shania Twain on the Thursday, you know. This is Mickey, I told you. So we changed it to Saturday.
Yeah.
The 2 girls were already booked, so we had to
Yeah.
get them Ross Mitchell and Fenton Harvey in, but what a night.
Yeah, it was good.
It's just the Saturday night. It was man, the room's just. I don't know. It's just one of them things. It's just you ever get everything just works.
Yeah. It was.
So we're
it was one
looking
of those
forward to
places
having you.
that we'd heard about, and then when you do it, you're like, I get it.
Aye,
Yeah, it's fucking a great spot.
Colin Murphy even rang. He did it, and then he rang me back. He's bringing his hour there before he goes on tour too. And it's good for people. I think for your boys that usually come down and try stuff as well because you're getting 50 people.
Yeah.
And you're not. It's not affecting anybody's.
Because that's it, this hour is the hour that I did last year, and it's only now for the finish. But I've a whole new set. I'm doing a new work in progress in August, so I'm like wanting to kind of.
See, that's hard. I don't know how you boys have to like get an hour a year.
But I don't usually. But the way this is falling, it's just I've been doing this role play show for about 7 years now. So
Well, I've got an hour, right? But me and him were talking about it. It's mad how many versions of that are. No, see if you're doing 20 minutes or 30 minutes. There's so many 20 and 30.
You just sort of flit it around. And
you can live off it,
but this, I like the show, and everywhere it's been. Like even the places where I thought it's going to be tough, Been great. My favourite show of the run's probably Portaferry. It was great.
But he come to
Down
Strabane.
there, so we'll be down Strabane.
Strabane.
Port Rush
Where
last
it's
week,
happening.
Strabane, and then finishing off in the old church in Cushendun on the 13th.
Brilliant, man.
I'm done, so yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait to have you.
Time, yes, look forward to it. So cheers for coming, Ro, and Eamon with the cameo there. Some great moments.
There's Eamon there, load the head on him. Lo.
I went there, he just crawls up.
Here he is, here, lo. He's like the wee troll you have from hanging from your key ring, isn't he?
It's him in the corner as well.
So does fucking hell.
But no, I hope to see you next week as well, because after tonight, I don't know if you'll be about again.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be there, front seat.
Pleasure.
Can't wait.
I'm the sly guy.